It's very moving. It was very moving for me to be invited to participate in this conference, and it's moving and it's very sad, of course, that such a tragedy convenes us here. I would like to tell you about Israeli occupation or Israeli control and rule over Palestinians through the experiences of 3 of my friends. It was quite difficult to choose among all my friends the examples, and I didn't pick up the worst examples one could find, because it's also part of the problem of media coverage, that if it does concentrate on something, it would be on the most difficult cases, which sometimes are not being taken as representative because they are not the rule. They are not. It's not something that happens to everybody. Death, injury, it is still a minority that experiences this. What I picked up is typical life of 3 of my best friends, Palestinian friends, that I think can illuminate about Israeli occupation and can illuminate about Israeli purposes and Israeli occupation. I'll start with the best of all, and it's very sad for me to tell about him because he just left for England. He was forced to leave for England and for London to study, to do his PhD in math education in London. Now, this is an opportunity that everybody would have taken gladly. He did, but also with mixed feelings, because actually he intended to study in Haifa University, where he was already admitted as a PhD student. He already has a supervisor, one of the best professors in the world for math education. Her name is Anna Sfard. I'm proud that I made this match between the two. And this looked like a very logical step for someone who was born in the refugee camp of Shati, in the beach camp in Gaza Strip, a child of refugees from Ashdod, to the south of today south of Israel, or between north of Gaza. It's very normal a move for somebody who is married to an Israeli Palestinian, another one, or a Palestinian citizen of Israel, also of Nazareth, and they've been together since 1990 or 1991. That is almost 16 years together. But it was not so natural for Israel to accept this natural thing. He was refused permit to go from Ramallah to Haifa University. He did his first semester by correspondence, emailing with his professor. I smuggled, also I'm proud to admit, I smuggled his professor. She came to Ramallah to see him 2 or 3 times, even though it is forbidden for Israelis to enter the Palestinian Authority territories. He was denied access to Haifa for security reasons, very, very dangerous. And not only that, he's not only denied access to Haifa. Actually, according to Israeli new and old regulations, he is also illegal in his own home in Ramallah. As a Gazan, he is considered illegal. All Gazans who live now in the West Bank are illegal sojourners, or whatever you call it in this bureaucratic language of occupation. All of them are illegal. So I need to go back a little historical note here. Actually, since 1991, there was no difference between a resident of Gaza and a resident of the West Bank in terms of where they live. And many Gazans moved to the West Bank, especially for those who wanted to study better, to get better education in the West Bank, and stayed there, got a job like normal people. I don't know how many of you have stayed in the very same place, very same city in all their lives. Just Palestinians as well. They moved, they went to learn in one place, found work another place, got married with somebody from another city, and settled down wherever they wanted, more or less, in the territories occupied in 1967. And so did my friend, his name is Jihad, and so did my friend Jihad. But then, during the Oslo years, they discovered that Israel does not, we'll tackle this later on, it's the Israeli policy of it's a permit system that Israel imposed since 91. So actually since 91, Gazans discovered that they cannot move freely from Gaza to the West Bank, and vice versa. This only worsened during Oslo, during the process, the so-called peace process. You would expect the opposite, but no. It was more difficult and actually impossible to go between Gaza and the West Bank, or to get permits to go from Gaza and the West Bank. What Israel demanded is that people who those who stay in Ramallah and could go out of the West Bank should have a residency of the West Bank. So you would say the natural thing to do would be to change the address. But there they discovered, during the Oslo, during the peace years, that Israel does not allow Gazans to change their address from Gaza to the West Bank. So here is a man like Jihad, born in 1967 with Israeli occupation, August 67, a student of math, a bright student of math. It's a very nice phenomenon of Gaza that there are many very good math students who all went to Birzeit. Except of Jihad, none has remained. One went back to Rafah, it's also a good friend of ours, and all the rest have gone abroad. Jihad did not want, he wanted to stay. He wanted to stay in the country. He wanted to improve math education in Palestinian schools. He didn't get a permit. He is illegal in Ramallah. And since 2000, since the outbreak of the Second Intifada, actually he discovered, like many other Gazans, that any moment, at any checkpoint, he may be apprehended by Israeli soldiers and sent to the West Bank, to the Gaza Strip, sent because he was illegal, as if he were an illegal sojourner in Israel proper. So actually, for the last 6 years, he didn't move out of Ramallah. He was confined to the borders of Ramallah. He lost all sense of geography. We used to joke that anything north to Birzeit University was a completely terra incognita for him. And anything south, then southern to Manara Square is also an unknown territory. He was arrested during this intifada, like many men. He was taken from the house, like many young men, he was taken from the house by Israeli soldiers, sent to something like 18 or 15 days or 5, I don't remember, at a detention camp nearby. He didn't know, his wife did not know, his child did not know if he would be deported to Gaza or not. Luckily, there was a lot of still confusion or disorganization within the army, and he was not deported back to Gaza. But you can only imagine in what fear and incertitude they lived for all this time.